We're back with Lloyd Feinstein. This man redid my resume. I've gotten kudos about it. He sees resumes in a different way because he has been a career marketer for most of his life. He knows the inside game.
He's a resume doctor.
Thanks very much.
Right. Okay, Lloyd?
Understand that most people don't know how people are hired or the hiring process. So I'd like to review that hiring process briefly with you.
Okay, sure.
Two basic concepts. Number one, the person that gets hired is not the person who's best qualified. It goes to the person that's perceived to be the best qualified. And number two,
so there's hope for me.
Absolutely. And number two, job search is a sales problem. So regardless of what your skill set is, if it's if you're IT or if you're finance or if you're communications, you have to take off that hat and you have to learn personal selling skills.
Which people don't even think about sometimes.
No,
I didn't.
They don't at all. And so let's start off by giving your audience a clear understanding of how people hire. All right?
Okay.
And the first question is, who is your audience? Now, what's interesting is that most people have the wrong audience. Most people think that the Human Resources Department is the audience, but that's only the audience if you want to work for Human Resources. Your real audience is the hiring executive. That's the individual that has the problems and has the ability to make the decision to hire. So let's take a look at that individual.
And they want you on this side? Oh, sorry about that. It's live TV, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Here's a typical example of a hiring situation. Here's the hiring influence, has 4 positions. This is the open position. The hiring person only asks 3 questions, and your resume needs to cover those 3 questions. Number 1, can you solve my problem? Can you get the monkeys off my back? Number 2, what's in it for me? Can you make me money, save me money, help me get a raise, a bonus, a promotion? And number 3, will you fit? So understand that the document you use has to talk the language of the hiring person, and you have to talk numbers, because the person that's hiring you is a numbers person. All right, let's take this to the next step. Most of the hiring decision, 80%, is chemistry. Do I like you? Do I trust you?
This is based on research. You've talked to human resource people.
Absolutely. When I presented this to human resource people, they said it was 90% chemistry, 10% ability to do the job.
Because they can always find enough people who can do the job.
That's correct. And yet, most people have no personality at all on the document. So that basically puts them at a tremendous disadvantage.
That's what you showed me. When you saw my resume, it didn't really say what I did, the process of how I solved a problem.
In the beginning of the document, you want to answer 2 questions. Can you do the job technically, and will you fit?
Skills.
Absolutely. That's what the can you do the job is, the skill set, okay? So let's take this and move it over.
10 seconds.
You have 10 seconds, yeah, that's your window of opportunity.
You were talking about the resume and everything, when they see the
resume, letters, it doesn't matter.
It lands for 10 seconds and
you
they can
talk to anybody in the communication field. Take a look at the motion pictures. You walk into a theater to watch a film, they're going to catch you in the opening 10, 15 seconds. Something's going to blow up, right?
Right.
Or they look at a lot of resumes.
That's right.
Or you say if you're trying to pitch a movie, you better catch them right away.
That's correct.
Because they got a lot of other movies.
That's the same thing in all media. Books, magazine articles, newspapers, etc. The other important concept is no surprises.
By that you mean, like, if you're pregnant, if you're fat, or what your age?
If you're out of work, or if you don't have a degree, or you didn't put in the dates you graduated because of the age issue, the reader wants full disclosure.
Because if you do go in for the interview, they don't want to see
That's
that you
no surprises. And most managers, most executives, that's the way they supervise.
But if I can ask, what about now the over 50 people who are unemployed looking for work, though?
Well, believe it or not, the people that are over 50 have been through recessions before. The people that have 19 years of work experience or less have never been through a recession. So therefore, the older worker has a great advantage if they know about it and if they take advantage of it. Because they've seen the recession of 92, 93. They've seen the recession of 89. And if you're my age, you've seen the recession of 72, 73.
When the gas shortage and everything.
That's correct.
Right.
But the people that have less than 19 years of experience don't have any experience with the recession. Okay, so now let's take a look at two very important concepts. The first is, how do you compete against your competition? And what's interesting is that the business world only gives you two choices. You can compete as the best technical person for the position, or you can compete as the best business person for the position.
The social aspect of it.
Not so much the social aspect, but the process aspect. Let me give you an example. Let's assume that the three of us own the Ice Capades, and we have an opening in one of our shows for a skater. How come we don't hire ex-hockey players? The reason is simple. They only know the technical aspect of the job, which is skating. They don't know the process aspect of the job, which is dance.
Dance, entertainment, right.
And if you've done any supervision at any level, you know that you hire process, you teach content. Give you an example in sales. You want to hire somebody that's a good listener, because you can't teach listening skills. Either the person's a good listener or they're not a good listener.
Right, that's right, right. And
So you hire the good listener and you teach them the content.
how to sell what you're selling.
The product, yeah,
Right.
the easiest thing, all right?
Right.
So, where should you be? You should be talking about your ability to do process. A terrific example is project management. Everybody does projects.
Yeah, my wife does it in the kitchen with me. She directs me.
right.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing a shopping for the house, that's a project.
It is. You got it.
But everybody does projects, and project management is universal across all industries.
Routines that you're used to and
So,
understand.
The skills can transfer.
That's right. So the key to transferable skills is to concentrate on two things. The first is process, and the second is coming up. And that's how to communicate your value. And the way you communicate your value is you tell a complete story. What most people do with their resumes is they start off with action, and then they perhaps go to result. Usually they don't quantify the result. But action is not believable. It could be fabricated, and so can the result.
Well, you said what percentage of resumes they exaggerate or lie?
It's up to 44%.
So
I better up mine.
Lies and distortions are up to 44%.
So even when they call you in, they want to see if it's BS or not. If they're interested enough to call you in.
That's correct. So the key is to tell the complete story. Beginning of the story, middle of the story, end of the story. But when you're telling your story, you have to satisfy these conditions. The problem has to be universal and generic so that it's transferable across industries.
Okay, I can't
What would be
find.
an example of a problem that
Yeah.
you would go in and say?
Well, let me just finish this, and then I have an example on the next sheet, okay? Action, tell them what you did, not how. You don't want to tell them how you did it because you're giving away free consulting.
That's right. I don't want to.
And I believe in no free consulting, all right? Results, always quantify your results.